Papa, turn right heading 135.
135, Shuttle 1 Papa.
178, turn left heading 2, 9 or 5, 1 localizer established, 27 left, descend with a glide path.
Left heading 2, 9 or 5, when localizer established, 27 left, descend with a glide to 178.
Hello guys, very warm welcome today. Welcome to the flight here down in Stockholm International Airport, where we've got the 737-800 with a Norwegian Airlines Air Shuttle, which is going to be a fantastic flight today to Umea in Sweden, a tiny little airport that we are going to fly this lovely jet to today. So we're going to be going in for runway 14 on the approach for Umea, and leaving out today on Stockholm. We're going to leave out for runway 08. So we'll get the aircraft all started. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All your support helps the channel a lot and makes a big difference to the way the flights are created. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the cockpit ready to start the aircraft up. So here we are now in the 737-800 cockpit, where we're going to just quickly set the aircraft up and get ready to go. So we'll switch the IRS nav selectors to nav, which will be checked. We can arm the emergency lights, get the chimes and fasten seatbelts on for the passengers to be seated. We get the window heat, which are all checked, and the packs can go to auto with the isolation valve, which is open. The APU bleed can come on for now until the APU gets started up. And we're going to be going out today for a flight level of, on the charts, is looking for a flight level of 270. So 270, which is checked. Now, we was going to do the RMP approach, but because of the weather down in Sweden for Umea isn't very good, the visibility, there is some slight myths of 5/8 of a mile and 200 feet, so the minimums for the RMP approach is set down at 310. Now the ILS goes to 200, so if we was to do the RMP, unless the weather changes, then we would be stuck on the go around. So we're going to be doing the ILS today. So we've got Echo Sierra November uniform. It's a very quick flight plan whilst you just wait for the IRS just to go. Zero fuel weight 55.5, 62 tons coming out on the reserves are 1.2. We've got a cost index today of 15, which is checked. We're going for a flight level of 270. Cruise wind down 270 is going to take us 216 at 28. And that will give us on our winds a minus 51. Okay, which is checked. Trans altitude 7,000, and if we go and get our takeoff performance, we can get that all in and ready to go. So our lander, we're coming from 08, was import from the aircraft. We've got 62 tons, rating, etc. Minimal anti-ice. We're going to take the anti-ice. I'm going to put the anti-ice on as the temperature here is 3. So no, it should be okay actually. We'll get the anti-ice off. So the weather's imported, and we'll take that all in. So we've got a takeoff 1, 88%, flaps 5, 1500 feet, acceleration 136, 137, 142, and the Vero is 144.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Yeah, we are clear to close.
Safety inspection checklist and before start checklist to the line.
Safety inspection checklist. Surfaces and chokes.
Yes.
Thanks, let me know if you need anything.
46.
Check.
Maintenance status.
Takeoff 1 with a climb 1.
Check.
Battery.
On.
Electrical hydraulic pumps.
On.
Landing gear lever.
Down.
Ship's library.
Check.
Safety inspection checklist completed.
Before start checklist to the line.
IRS mode selectors.
Nav.
Gear pins.
1, 2, 3 removed.
Rope covers.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Would you like the APU
whilst
on?
to make our final preparations for departure,
Cabin
I
crew,
would
arms
like
light
to
and cross
introduce
check.
you to our safety
1, 2, 3,
procedures.
4, 5 removed.
Light
Please
test.
make sure that your hand luggage
Okay.
doesn't block
Starting
the
the
aisles
APU.
or exits by using the
Check.
overhead
Oxygen.
lockers or the area under the seats
Tested
in front of you.
100%.
Tested
Place
100%.
items as
Okay,
far
so we
as
are ready to go.
possible
On.
underneath the
Yaw
seat.
damper.
Fuel damper, which can go on now. APU's coming on. We get all of our fuel pumps, etc. Hydraulics can start to come on as well.
On.
Nav transfer and display switches.
As these items can
Normal
fall out
auto.
when
Fuel.
they are
Stabilizer tank.
Brakes, please.
4.0 units set.
Performance weight and balance.
Signed and sent.
Signed and sent. Phones.
Off.
Off. Electronic flight back.
Airplane mode and stowed.
Airplane mode and stowed. Flight deck, windows and cockpit door.
Locked.
Doors.
Close.
Passengers.
Seated.
Before start checklist to the line completed.
Okay, so we're ready now to start the engines.
Before start checklist below the line.
Before start checklist below the line. Air conditioning packs.
Off.
Off.
Anti-collision light.
On.
Start engine 2.
Starting engine 2.
Okay, so engine 2 now is going to come to life. And we can get ready to blast out. We're going to take a right hand turn. We can see EGT now is going to rise once the N2 limit comes to 25%. Oil pressure is starting to increase. 25% would inject fuel. 56% start to cut out switch will go back to auto. 23, 24 and 25. So engine number 2. Parking brake set. 5.04, which we'll get in now as we see the EGT now for engine number 2 coming into life. So it's basically 5%, which is also checked. Auto brakes RTO, brakes are set now. Flight directors are all on. We've got 142 for V2 plus 20, which is 162, 88.19%. So there we go, there's 89%, which is there on number 1 is going to come to life.
Starter cut out.
Okay, which is
Number
checked.
2 stable.
Start engine 1.
Starting engine 1.
Engine number 1 now coming to life. The aircraft will as she gets ready to go.
Starter cut out.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
So engine number 1 and 2 now all arrived. Gen 1 and 2 we switched over onto the buses. We've got the Pro Heat, the PAX Auto, Isolation Valve Auto, APU bleed can go off with the APU. Engine start switches are continuous and we are ready to go.
The safety card in your seats area shows details of escape routes, oxygen masks and life jackets. It also shows the bracing position which you must adopt in an emergency landing.
Full right.
In the unlikely event of having to use the escape slide, leave all hand baggage behind and remove high-heeled shoes as they may tear the slide.
Check.
Please now ensure that your table is folded away, your seat back is upright,
Okay, so
the
we've got
armrest
270
down
coming
and
out
your
on the
seatbelt
altitude.
fastened. The seatbelt is fastened and adjusted like
Which
this,
is all good for us.
and
Before
unfastened
takeoff
like this.
checklist.
Before taxi
When
checklist.
the
Before
fasten
taxi
seatbelt
checklist.
signs are on,
Generators.
you must go
Off.
back to your
APU.
seat and fasten your
Off.
seatbelt
Start
securely.
switches.
Continuous.
For your
Warm
own
heat.
comfort and safety, we
Off.
recommend you
Anti-ice.
keep your seatbelt fastened at all times and visible
Air conditioning.
to avoid being
PX
disturbed
auto,
in
bleeds
flight.
on.
Isolation valve.
Auto.
Flaps.
Okay, flaps are going to be coming on for 5
If the
and
cabin
5.
air supplies fail,
One.
oxygen
Selected.
will be
Reload.
provided.
Stabilizer trim.
Masks like this
5.0
will appear
units.
automatically.
5.0 units.
Stay in your
Units
seat
set.
and pull a
Start
mask
levels.
towards you.
Idle
This
effect.
will open
Flight
your
controls.
oxygen supply.
Checked.
Recall.
Place the mask over your mouth and nose like this.
Checked.
Before
and breathe
taxi
normally,
checklist completed.
adjusting the band
Okay,
to
before
secure
taxi
it.
checklist completed.
Do make sure your
So
own
we are
mask
ready
is
to go
fitted
now.
before helping anyone else.
Check the left side, clear.
Clear left.
Your
Clear
life
right.
jacket is
Point to
underneath or beside your
Okay.
seat.
So
In the
we're ready
event
to
of
go.
landing on water,
Let's go into the
remove the
electronic
life
bag,
jacket
let's get
from its
the
container
taxi
and put
lights
it
on,
over
I'll
your
reach
head.
those.
Pass the
Release
tapes
the
around
buttons.
your waist and tie them securely in a double
we're
bow
gonna
at
power
the
on
side. To inflate, pull the red toggle as shown.
So on for the airport
The air can
taxi
be
out
topped up by
of
using
runway
the mouthpiece.
08.
There is a whistle
We're
here
going to
for
basically
attracting
come
attention.
down, roll out onto Zulu,
Do not
then
inflate your life
X-ray,
jacket
and we
until
can
you
probably
are
come down
outside
onto
the
X-ray
aircraft.
2.
We will supply life cots for babies and life jackets for infants. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, please study the safety card and take notice of the fasten seatbelt sign. May we remind you that electrical portable items such as games, computing and word processing equipment may interfere with the aircraft systems and must be switched off during takeoff and landing. portable telephones must be switched off while the aircraft engines are running. As this is a no smoking service, the no smoking signs will remain on for the duration of the flight. Smoking is not permitted at any time whilst on board. If you have any questions, please ask one of the crew. Thank you.
Okay, so we're currently on Zulu, just coming around the bend now. You can see as we come around off of Zulu, we're going to come down onto X-Ray 2. So we'll continue on Zulu. I don't know what this guy's doing in front, as he does want to do different things today. So I can see X-Ray 2, which is just over the way, just between the where you can see the puppy lights for 08. So we're going to come here, take a left-hand turn, and then we'll be ready and set to go on for takeoff.
Before takeoff checklist to the line.
Before takeoff checklist.
So there's X-Ray 2, ready to line up.
The approach is clear on the left.
Approach is clear on the right. Stand by.
Before takeoff checklist below the line.
Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP. Cabin crew seats for departure.
So it's going to be a quick left-hand turn straight out of departure.
Set.
Transponder.
TARA.
Strobe lights.
On.
Landing lights.
Complete the checklist.
Landing lights.
On.
Before takeoff checklist below the line completed.
Okay, so we're ready to go straight out on rolling takeoff, so let's do this.
Set takeoff thrust.
Push forward on the column.
Stabilized.
And toga.
Takeoff thrust set, indicators normal.
knots.
80 knots.
Checked.
V1, rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Enough.
LNAV.
And I've checked following V2 plus 20 now. Just lower down on the aircraft as we've got our D-rate takeoff 1 in, so we're not going to practically blast right out of this runway, because we don't want to be doing that. We want to be making a nice stable departure out of our lander as we then come out onto that lovely left-hand turn, which will take us onto the 356. So we're holding V2, we can now go up to our bug speed of 220. Okay, which is checked. Then we're going to move on to the 356.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
That's unchecked. .360 is where we're going to level off to then come in. Weather doesn't look all that great today up in Stockholm.
Flaps up.
Speed checked. Flaps up. Stand by.
Okay, VNAV's now in.
After takeoff checklist. Air conditioning and pressurization. 2.0 set. Altimeters.
Passing 4972 feet. QNH 1010.
After takeoff checklist completed. Happy to release the cabin crew?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, cabin crew is going to be released. Command A, which is
Command A.
in. Checked. That's past 5,000 now. Turn off lights can be turned off. Engine start switches are turned off to auto. And the aircraft is making its way up now to flight level 270. Checking out on the climb out 145, so all the way to 270, which should be lovely and good for us today.
You have control.
I have control.
Okay, I have control of the aircraft as we now break off to that 360 turn all the way to Sierra Alpha 417 as we do our after takeoff checklist, which has all been done. We can see that we've got auto brake off, which is clear, recalls clear. Landing lights will be turned off under 10,000 feet as we're just going to go into some horrible cloud layers. Switch to the standard
Set
QNH.
standard, passing 8,000 feet.
Checked.
Then after 10,000 feet we can then get the 10 checks in and the cabin crew can let the passengers roam freely around the cabin. As we come through onto the arrival charts, which I will get for us, the Lenzo 3 Alpha, which I'll grab just as we come in. So on for the arrival, the star, we're on the Lenzo 3 Sierra. We're going to star that off, which is there. And the approach is pretty straightforward, guys. We're just going to basically hit Lenzo above the 10,000, 5,000 above the November uniform 8.
Altimeters.
And then by the time we get to the uniform 850, the 2,500 above, that'll take us already onto final for the approach. So we can get the 10 checks in now.
Climbing, level 100. 10 checks.
10 checks. Fuel 4, pumps on, lights. APU, air conditioning and pressurization. 4.1. Fasten belts. Happy to release the cabin. Recall. Monitor 121.50 on VHF2.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome aboard our in-flight entertainment system can be locked on request by the cabin crew should you not wish your children to see specific programs. Before the news and preview show, we'll be playing a short video for the benefits of our business class customers to help you gain the maximum comfort from your seat. If after watching this video there is any aspect of the operation of your seats that you require further assistance with, one of us will be more than happy to help.
The arrivals, so overcast 300 feet. So we'll do the ILS because that way we've got 200 foot decision height, will just be underneath the overcast layer. Now it did say that there was fog on the METAR just before we came in, so hopefully we can just get underneath that layer by the time we get down into a lovely Umea. For our progress route, 1141 is 1136 by the time we're going to get down to Resna, which is 6 nautical miles away, and 242 distance to go to Umea, which will be at 12:17. Current time is 11:35. So in just under around 40 minutes time we should be there, down, ready for the approach. So I'm going to leave you guys with the takeoff cinematics so you can get a lovely view of the departure and the outside of the aircraft. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it means such much to get the channel noticed for more new channel members that do miss out on the content on the channel. And I do appreciate all of my new, current and past subscribers that are already subscribed to the channel. Without you guys, these videos would not be here today. So I'll see you when we get back into the cockpit and enjoy the takeoff cinematics.
I can't sleep, yeah. Only miss you when I'm breathing in too deep, yeah. Am I just your little secret? I didn't hear the sirens. I didn't wanna see the warning signs, and now I pay the price, yeah. Oh, I should've known. It hits me like a tidal wave every time you say my name. It hits me like a tidal wave. It hits me like a tidal wave. A tidal wave. Tidal wave.
guys, welcome back to the flight deck as we're currently descending through flight level 158. We've got the MCP altitude set for 10,000 as that is our first restriction on the star for the Lenzo 3 arrival into runway 14. We've got the VOR in for Umea, which is currently the 114.1. Now we're going to set the aircraft up now very briefly. So we've got 130, which is set for the courses. The ILS frequency, which is 109.9, which we've also got set on standby, which will flick over around 20 nautical miles from the airport. Sorry. Engine start switches can now be on continuous as we flick through. Engine anti-ice switch is on as it's still minus 14. For our minimums, we've got 225 for a 200-foot decision as the airport's elevation is 225. So put 225 down in on the minimums, which should be lovely for us. Look at our landing performance. So landing en route, we'll import from the OFP, we'll land on runway 14. We'll input the aircraft's details 59.9, which we'll just double check as well, 4.4 to 46, which gives us a remainder of 2, so there's 59.9, which is correct and set. Moving now on to the 344, which we'll just track in, 344, which is set. So packs are going to be on. I'm going to leave the engine anti-ice on as well. Import the weather 1009, 190 at 10. And with auto brake max, because I want to turn around as the airport's going to be behind us, so we want to try and stop pretty swiftly as it is. So we've got a +5 as we can see for the VREV 147, so VREV 30 +5, which is a 147 on the VREV, so we can take a flaps 30. Auto brake set for max, and we can now go into the approach checklist.
Are you ready for the approach brief?
Okay.
The arrival routing will be by the ATC and start complying with all published speed and altitude restrictions. For an ILS approach, landing with flaps 30 landing. Final approach fixed altitude is 2,500 feet. Decision altitude is 200 feet. Missed approach altitude is 2,500 feet. Taxi route in will be assigned by ATC. We'll be arriving at the gate. The current weather poses is that we won't rush any procedures today. Descent speed and navigation radius are set. Airport modems have been reviewed. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
No questions.
Approach brief complete. I have control.
You have control.
Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Landing altitude 50 set.
Anti-ice.
Engine anti-ice is on.
Approach briefing and fuel.
Discussed.
Indicated airspeed and altimeter box.
VREF 142. Minimums 200 feet. Checked and set.
Descent checklist completed.
Okay, descent checklist is complete. We are now just approaching down onto the later leg of the approach right now. Just going to get in on the charts so you guys can see. So we are just basically running all the way down 5,000 above, and then we swing round for 2,500 feet. The initial fix where we then start the approach down into runway 14. So it's a very swift procedure. We get the landing lights, which can all come on, which is checked. So we're using the FS2Crew SOP2, which is the low-cost carrier airlines. There is an SOP3 that's come out for the US, I believe, and there is an update for this SO2 one as well. So we will update that as it's only just come out recently. So we'll see exactly what's on offer for us. So we can see the snow, everything's all in and checked, 109.9. We're currently now 21 nautical miles, so we'll switch over the ILS's. Then we'll get the idents as well, 109.9 for 130, check course, which is set 21.3 nautical miles, passing through at 10,000 feet.
First.
Frequencies 109.90. Rings runway 1410 miles. Idents November uniform and November uniform. Standby instrument set. Courses 130 and 130. Frisk complete.
Check.
Approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments. Altimeters.
Set and cross checked.
Approach aids.
Descending. Flight level 100. 10 checks.
10 checks. Cabin crew, 10 minutes to landing. Fuel, 4. Pumps on. Lights. Angel of bank. Air conditioning and pressurization. 4.3. Fasten belts. Recall, 121.50 deselected.
Checked and set.
Approach checklist completed.
Approach checklist is complete now. Currently 16 nautical miles before we then start to break into the turn. Currently tracking the 344 for the ILS 414. So it's a very swift procedure. Cabin crew is now ready to come in.
Cabin crew and passengers remain seated.
We are now ready to brake to the right, and we can see the speed tape now slowly moving down to 240 before we'll go to our clean speed, and then we'll start releasing the flaps down onto configuration for the approach. So we'll bug 001 now, which is in and checked, passing through 5,000. 5,000 feet now, QNH is 1009.
Set QNH 1009, passing 4,800 feet, no flags, standby altimeter set.
Standby altimeter is set 1009 and checked. So we can see there's quite a lot of snow down on the ground, so it will be a bit slippery, I should imagine, when we enter in on 1-4. But we've got the auto brake set for max, so we should come down to a pretty shifty start. We're not going to do full reversers, just going to keep the reversers idle once we come in, and that should just about do us on the approach. So 001 now to the 075. 005 on the FMC, drag required, which is fine as we've got 10 nautical miles anyway still to kill off. That's why we've got 2,500 above for the VNAV path. As you see, the vertical deviation was still bang on the course for the descent profile, and that's going to be the full spin around now to the 130. Reaching down to our 10 nautical miles ring. We can now drop down the speed brakes just to give us that extra little bit of leniency. VOR lock and the approach can come in now. Single channel is active, so the localizer has been captured. Okay, speed brakes in.
Flaps 1, flaps 5.
Speed checked. Speed checked.
Don't really find that flaps 1 does much when the aircraft goes into a flaps 1 setting. I find it just basically, it sort of just starts the drag off. I would sort of
Flaps
explain.
5.
Flaps 5, which is checked and set, green light. Glide slope's now been captured.
Gear down, flaps 15.
Speed checked. Flaps 15. Gear down.
Shot flaps 15 in, which is checked. Now we're going to go into that mist, which is around 300 feet, so we should just dip in just underneath minimums. Currently 5.9 nautical miles to go.
Flaps 25.
Speed checked.
Okay, flaps 25.
Flaps 25.
And 147.
Flaps 30.
Speed checked. Flaps 30.
Landing checklist, 2 flaps.
Landing checklist to flaps. Start switches.
Continuous.
Recall.
Check.
Speed brake.
Armed, green light.
Landing gear.
Down, 3 green.
Auto brake.
Max, set.
Flaps.
1,000.
Complete the checklist.
Flaps.
30, 30, green light.
Holding at landing lights. Holding at landing lights.
Okay, so landing lights are down. I don't know why it does go a little bit funky when it comes down to the landing lights, as it always does seem to have some sort of problems in that respect. So what I'm going to do is now we've got sight of the runway, so I'm going to disconnect the autopilot. Manual flight, which is checked.
$500.
500 feet.
Checked.
400. 300. Approaching minimums. 200. Minimums.
Holding at landing lights. Minimums.
Okay, so minimums continue.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reversers normal. 30%. 100 knots.
Checked.
80 knots.
Checked. Manual braking.
Auto brake disarmed. 60 knots.
Checked.
Okay, so here we are now, guys, down in lovely Sweden. So I'm going to back taxi right here, as I wanted max auto brake just so that we'd be able to stop efficiently. I didn't want to go all the way down to the bottom of the runway. I wanted to be able to turn the aircraft around right here, which would then make it much easier for us to taxi back round. So we'll just taxi the aircraft back round. There's taxiway Delta. As for the tiny little aircraft props, and we can now taxi back to stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the captain and the entire crew, we'd like to welcome you to our destination. For your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened, leaving all items of hand luggage safely stowed until the seatbelt signs have been switched off. Before you leave the aircraft, please ensure you have all your personal items and hand luggage with you. Please be careful when opening overhead lockers, as items may fall out, causing injury. We'd like to remind you that smoking is not permitted until you've reached a designated smoking area. If you require assistance when you leave the aircraft, please contact a member of our ground staff. If you're connecting to another flight today and hold a boarding card and transfer wallet advising you of your departure terminal, please follow the signs to flight connections. This will lead you on to your departure terminal, and please check your gate number in the departure lounge. To avoid missing your onward flight, we strongly recommend that you go straight to your departure terminal. For those of you who do not have a boarding card, please go directly to the Flight Connections desk.
Okay, so we're ready to
Once
go.
again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire airline, thank you very much for choosing to fly with us today, and we hope to see you again in the near future. Thank you.
So we're going to go on to stand 6, which is just right here.
APU on the buses.
Check. So I've turned the taxi lights off, etc., as we are going to come in pretty sharpish now. We see the marshal at some point standing right there for us. And we come in. So, welcome to Sweden, guys. Lovely Umea airport. and collision lights, which are on, strobes are steady. APU is switched over onto the buses, and now we are all ready and set to go. Okay, so we'll stop just about here. Get a parking brake, which is going to be set. APU is set over on the buses, and we can now. And there we are, guys, down in lovely Umea airport now, as the stairs start to come to the aircraft and the baggage handlers get ready to offload all of the luggage. I'd like to thank you all today for joining me on this lovely flight with Norwegian Air Shuttle, and I hope to see you again very soon on the next available flight. We've got the landing cinematics coming up in just a few moments time. I will leave you with the deboarding, and then I will see you for the next available flight on the channel.
Passenger's bus is coming.
So stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next flight. Bye bye.
Never mistake the way you give me